Yeah, so welcome everyone.
Thanks, Kennedy.
So government shutdown, are you for it or against it?
I'm against.
Wrong!
That was an extraordinary exchange today.
Yes.
I mean, that was like entertainment. It's like the season of the reality show, right?
I was going to say The Apprentice is back.
Exactly.
I loved it. I would love to see more things like, and I like that they don't just get to be politicians, because they really are frustrated with each other, and I think it's better for them to express some authentic frustration. I really do. I would like to see how the process works.
Well, I think
do we really think that good deals get cut when people are under that kind of pressure?
No, I actually don't think. No, I don't think this is conducive to actually cutting a deal policy-making wise, but it probably helps all of them politically to fight with each other. I think that what was so interesting today is that Chuck Schumer made very clear that there are two kinds of deals that Republicans and Democrats will support in the House and the Senate, and Donald Trump can take either of those. But if it doesn't have the level of border funding he wants, he can shut the government down. The choice is fairly simple here. And I don't think anything, but to your point, no progress got made by this televised catfight.
But
well,
okay, if it weren't televised, would we have had more progress?
I'll take the other side of that. I actually think the fact that you gave all parties an opportunity to get it out there, show how the sausage is getting made. Let them be real.
But no sausage was made.
That's okay. Sausage making takes time. But what you did was gave each person advice as ugly. As the congressman said, it's not that big a deal anyway. It's a quarter of a
how everybody here felt about this issue. We didn't learn anything new from this TV catfight.
But they all actually talked together. They actually sat in the same room. They actually had something to say. It was a little awkward, I agree, and it was a little weird, especially
I don't have a problem with this, and I'll tell you why. Because so often when people go up before cameras, whether it's the president or Chuck and Nancy, they have their stupid pre-scripted points.
Talking points,
and they're straw men that they fallaciously
This was real.
Torch.
I mean, it was real.
And they don't. And when you are presented with an issue and you have to counterpunch, it does show people's hands, and it shows how deeply dug in each side really is.
I think what was real was the level of discomfort felt by the Democratic leaders there. They did not know how to deal with this format.
And a safe space?
They just did not know how to handle this sort of situation. And they did not have
This is the minority leader of the Senate and the incoming House Speaker.
I think look, Donald Trump said his piece, everyone listened to him, then he passed it off to Nancy Pelosi, and he immediately started interrupting her. And I will say, as a Democrat who's not a huge fan of either Chuck Schumer or Nancy Pelosi, I thought they did a pretty good job today, standing up to the president, not letting him bully them like many people do, and they laid out very clearly, we have policy options here, Mr. President.
But you know what?
Do you want them or do you not want them?
I know people get very frustrated when there are these big cabinet meetings where everyone goes, oh, Mr. President, thank you so much. You are the light of my life. What a wonderful opportunity. And it's nice to see people actually.
Well, I would argue that actually what we saw today is the very reason why Donald Trump got elected. You can argue whether it was a popular election win or an electoral election win. But the fact is, people put him in Washington. Yeah, okay, fair enough. People put him in Washington to effectively knock down the walls, to actually get a job done, to demask government, to make people uncomfortable,
to have a dialogue.
But
he didn't get a job done, right?
He's doing it. Tax reform? Are you kidding me?
No, but we're not talking about tax reform. We're talking about whether he shuts the government down or whether he gets an immigration deal. And I think that spectacle today only works if it's combined with private, serious, substantive negotiations. And by the way, House and Senate Republicans have to be in those too, because those caucuses are not on board with the president either right now.
As a Democrat, are you happy to see no discussion of the Dreamers and trying to figure out what we're going to do with the legal status of these people in the country? I feel like the Democrats have completely abandoned them in this process.
Nancy Pelosi is ready to just untether them from her wagon.
So it's an interesting question. I have argued that this deal to keep the government open needs to be very narrowly tailored, should not include the wall, should not include DACA, should not include the contentious issues they will fight about after the new Congress.
Go ahead and have it include DACA. I don't have a problem with that at all.
Because they're not. We haven't got these done in 30, 40, 50 years.
Because they don't want to give the president a win.
No.
If they give him a win on border funding and DACA, that makes him way too popular with independents.
Well, then we're back to the do-nothing Congress with President Obama.
They're much happier doing absolutely nothing, and then they'll get together and spend stupid amounts of money on things.